Will Anthony Joshua be as successful in 2019? Can Joshua replicate the success from 2017 and 2018 this year? Well, with the Wilder and Fury fight and their rematch possibly coming this year at some point, it is quite possible that some of the limelight might be stolen from AJ, considering how exciting and controversial their first fight was. AJ has been selling out Wembley and the Principality Stadium with his last 4 fights, and he and Matchroom hope that his future fights will continue on that upward trajectory. But that may prove fairly difficult considering the new players in the big stage of boxing. As boxing expands, there are more and more shows and more platforms, meaning a night of boxing can be found on an array of different platforms such as pay-per-view, streaming sites with a Netflix-style system where you pay a certain amount for each month and have access to all the shows within that month regardless of who is fighting in that particular month. And you have free-to-air platforms also, like ITV, but they are also doing some sort of box office system. But you have Channel 5 in the game, and also you have Channel Dave. We don't really know what is happening with them, because we don't really know what is happening with Haymaker Promotions, who are putting on the shows on the Dave channel, but they have recently lost Joe Joyce to Al Heyman, so it is unsure whether there will be more shows on that platform. But in spite of this, we have to consider the draw that is Anthony Joshua, and what we have seen throughout last year and the year before with the Klitschko fight, the Carlos Takam fight, the Joseph Parker fight, and then the Alexander Povetkin fight. Now obviously the Klitschko fight was a huge event, but Carlos Takam wasn't a really well-known opponent, neither was Alexander Povetkin. That is not inside the boxing world. Most boxing fans would know who they are, but casual boxing fans may know their names, but not really their records, or may have not even seen them fight. So for Anthony Joshua to sell out stadiums fighting these kind of opponents, good opponents, but lesser known opponents to the wider public, that is a feat in its own. He seems to capture the public's attention with his humble personality and his knockout ratio, and not to mention the fact that his shows are not just shows but events, and there is usually a very fancy ring walk with his initials illuminated in fire as he makes his way to the ring. It seems he has outgrown the arena fights. Anthony Joshua represents a big change in boxing and the growth that it has in the UK. He is leading the charge in some way. Obviously we have Canelo and Deontay Wilder now in the US. Deontay Wilder is now gathering more following considering his Fury fight and possibly the rematch, that anticipation for that fight. But Canelo is a huge star in the US, and in the UK they have kind of been searching for one, but it has been found. It is Anthony Joshua. Obviously we have Tyson Fury also, who is probably pretty close to Joshua, but he's not quite up with the stadium fights and things like that, but he could be in the future. Especially if he were to step in the ring with AJ at some point in Wembley. That would be a great event and a great fight. I think this year will prove to be a huge year for boxing, especially in the UK and also in the American market, with DAZN making their presence known in the American market, and in the UK obviously we have Sky, BT, ITV, Dave, Channel 5, all of these more platforms getting in on the action that is to follow. This year there will be so many shows. I think Matchroom have announced they will have 60 shows, I think, so they will be clashing with themselves, not to mention with Frank Warren shows, ITV shows, and all of the rest, you know. So this year is going to be a massive flagship year for boxing. There will be shows every week for you to tune into. So, does that excite you? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please like the video and subscribe if you would like to see more content. Thank you guys.